another recap of Single Dad Seeking. And on this episode, we started with Jake and Amy. And Jake and Amy were not on last week's episode. So we had a little bit of catching up to do. Okay, so they go out on a date. The kids weren't going to be there for the night. And so they decided to go out on a date. And he had said she had been there a week and they felt like they hadn't had like alone time. And so he wanted to take her out. And so they go out. Or before they go out, Amy is really, I love this part because she was like, she already had the whole conversation for the night ready. Like, she's getting ready. She's telling the producers exactly what she's going to say. And she was like, we are going to talk about, we're going to have communication and we're going to talk about feelings today. I was like, oh, this girl's ready. Hope he's ready to answer some tough questions. Okay, so because, like, they go to dinner and she talks about, when your sister asked if there was chemistry and if you liked me and you were like, and you didn't really answer, like, why was that? And he kind of is all over the place at first because he's like, sometimes I talk too much, sometimes I don't open up enough, and he's like, this is all new to me, you know, he's been married for a while, he'd only been dating within the last year, it only started dating within the last year, so that made sense, and she really liked that he was being honest with her. And so then they talked about the chemistry, and she asked if there was, and then later on in the episode, you get to see where they're really connecting, and they both
He still kind of also still seemed like he was kind of just shy on wanting to talk about his inner feelings.
Yeah.
Or like how he truly feels, because either he didn't want to some people are just not comfortable with speaking out loud about it.
Yeah.
And they kind of just give out the hints about how they're feeling without coming out and saying it.
And I think she's more of those open
she'll
say she's like, this is how we're feeling. We're going to talk about this. So I think that's good for both of them. Then we meet up with Valine and Mike and Mr. Mikey. Whoa, he was a pill in today's episode. It cracked me up like I was busting out laughing. Okay, so he says he likes to mess with Valine, Mikey does. And they kind of start theirs where she kind of goes out with Mikey by herself because she wants to give this whole parenting thing a try and give it her full effort. And so she takes him to the aquarium, which he's excited about. And that whole little time was cute. And then after she decides to take him to get ice cream, and that's where you saw a little bit of the acting up. And then the car ride on the way to the aquarium, you saw a little bit of acting up going on, which he's 6, he's with somebody new, he's gonna test his limits, see how far can I go before I can't do this anymore. But I think it was good. It was a good bonding time for them. And then when they get back, she's all like, man, I don't know how parents do this every day. You know, I'm exhausted and I just did it for a couple hours. And
wants to get a glass of wine.
Yeah. And
kind of sit and relax.
Yeah. And then she wants to spend alone time with Mike. And Mike's all for it. And tries to start getting Mikey down for bed. And that was hilarious because Mikey cannot stop saying dad. He needs his dad for everything from needing a towel to toothbrush to whatever else he was yelling for. And it's really funny because Mike was like, oh my gosh. He's like, okay, man to man, like, give me 10 minutes.
I was like, can't you help a brother out here, you know?
Yeah. I was like, oh man. And he was like, drip dry. And it was really funny because he was trying to give both of them the attention that they needed and that they wanted. But he was really, really struggling. And it was like, and I was saying that I feel like Mikey had not seen him all day. And so he's craving that attention too. And he wants to be with dad. And he's 6. So he's going to act up because he's 6. And so that was really, really funny.
But also still it comes to the same time, or what they're saying, like with Valine's, like she just wants that time with Mike. And I know there's a lot of attraction, chemistry, and stuff like that, and just wanting your long time. And Mike was for it and everything for that, because probably and it's what everybody wants. But it's also again once you're a family, it becomes time to that you have your time that you can find to have your alone time. It's not just always gonna pop up when you
Yeah.
wanted to, or you're gonna have to.
You're
wait.
gonna have to, yeah, you're gonna have to be
You're gonna have to
flexible.
wait till midnight, folks.
You're gonna have to be flexible, definitely, because something always happens, and then you think, oh, it's just fine, and then somebody gets sick.
Yeah.
And then like, no. Okay, so then, what I really liked was Valine starts talking about how she feels about things, and Mike just kind of I feel like just stood up and said his feelings. Like he said, so what I'm hearing you say is you just don't think you're the right person for this. I mean, that's how I took it. He was like, well, this is how I'm taking it. This is how I saw it. And I feel like that's good for him too. He's like, okay, you want to talk about your feelings? Let me hear. This is how I see it. This is how I feel about it. And so I really like that. And he was like, well, this is how I'm taking it. Yeah. And then that kind of ends up, I mean, I don't know if there was, how much editing was there, but it was like, she kind of ends the conversation and walks off and locks herself in the room. And then their episode ends with a lot of tension. And he's like, I know we're about to fight. I know that she's not feeling, good about the moment. He's like, so I'm just going to get Mikey and I'm going to bring him out of the situation. And I think that's good because your kids feed off of it. They can tell when something's not right. And so sometimes just taking a little bit of time out can help the situation, can diffuse the situation.
Yeah, and she got upset because Mike hadn't said nothing to her.
Oh yeah, and then she's like, he hasn't said anything to me since this morning. But then, like, he goes to leave and he tells her where they're going, and
but
then
also
she walks
again,
off.
that was also because Mikey went out there and said, bye, Valine. Because Mikey asked, is Valine going? And Mike said no. And
it's just me and you.
Just me and you, yeah. And then he goes out there on the patio to tell Valine bye. And then Mike goes out there and says, we're just going to go to the park for a little while. And then he goes to try to, I guess, give her a kiss on the cheek or lips or whatever. And she kind of shrugs it off.
And walked off from him. Yeah.
And Mike.
I was like, okay. But I mean, I understand the tension's there. You need to separate. And like Mike says, he's like, it's hard. I've heard this a million times where they say I'm just not the right person for this. And I feel like he's always concerned that he's going to get that. Like he's just waiting for the moment to come where she just finally says, I can't do this. But it's a balancing act. And Mikey was hilarious. Mikey was cracking me up. I was like, that kid. Okay, so then we go to Paul and Callie, and it's the first day of school, which that, again, shows you that they were taping on different times. And so they help get the kids ready, and she says she likes the feeling because she looked forward to is being a mom and being in a family. And so she actually liked getting them ready for school. And then they're like, all the kids are ready and they're waiting for the school bus. And they were both taking pictures of the kids as they were getting ready. So that was kind of cool. And then she takes Ryan to Taekwondo. And she actually does it with him, which I think is good. Because, I mean, it is a bonding experience for them too.
Yeah.
And Ryan kind of talks about wanting that mom figure, and Dad may take advantage of it a little bit, about the dishes and stuff, but you can tell that the kids really do crave that womanly affection and love, and you can tell that, yeah, their dad's doing the best he can, but that they need that and they want that. And then Paul talks about I feel like Paul is nervous that they're going to connect with her really, really well, and then she's going to walk out. And then, it's going to be him and these 4 kids, and they're just going to be heartbroken. And I think that's some of his concerns. And so then it gets kind of awkward because she comes home and she starts talking to him after taekwondo. And I feel like with Paul, you just have to be really straightforward. Because I think when she was trying to give him hints, he was like, well, I didn't see that, or maybe I just didn't read that right.
I think a lot of people have different kind of communication styles.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like if you can try to find a way to understand the way everybody talks. Just like when I came into this family, I'm still learning how the way people talk. But it's still the same way, and it's also the part of nerves. And do you really want to talk about your feelings like that? I mean,
oh no,
I know that he is kind of just kind of nervous, and you can see it in his,
I feel like he does.
And but in all, it's you're looking for that relationship. Yes, I think she's wanting him to come out and say, hey, I do want to be with you. I want our alone time together as well, so we can build a strong relationship, and that our time together is just as valuable as with the kids, even though you haven't been there as far long as
I think for him it's all a balancing act. He's trying to figure out how to do this, and I don't feel like since his divorce or anything that he's probably dated much either. Because I think it's just a lot different. He's constantly thinking about, I have 4 kids that I need to make sure that they're okay in this too. And I think sometimes my note for that was, I think he's just not, the way he communicates, the way it comes across on the TV just doesn't sound right. But I think that's just him. That's just how he communicates. And you have a camera in your face. And then so she basically says at the end of that conversation, well, that conversation went nowhere. But I think that she will. She'll learn how to communicate with him and how to express her concerns. Okay, then you have Denise and John and Elijah. And she's going to watch Elijah all day. And him being 4 tries to pull a couple stunts. He has an accident on himself. He locks her in the bathroom when she goes to changing. He spits on her. He tries to cut her. And, just being how far can I take it 4-year-old? I don't know her that well. And I've got these people in my house. And I'm 4. And she calls John on the phone to talk to him about it. And you could tell that she's, trying to word it cautiously, too, because Elijah's still in the room. And I liked how he got on him over the phone. And it was Dad means business. Dad said, give her the scissors now. And then he counted down, and then the scissors went. We're okay. Yeah. And I was I like that because he's showing.
My kids know the countdown.
Yeah. And I said, that shows Elijah, too, you have to obey her. And just because I'm not there does not mean you get to walk all over. And so I really like that. I was yes. And she talked about, too, she's I don't know how you do this. This is a lot. And you kind of get that feeling oh, what's she going to say? But she still wants to continue the relationship and wants to continue finding her place in it. I think she's amazing. I think her and John are just perfect.
I think that, she likes that. At the end of the series with them right there on today's show is she kind of talks about it a little bit, that she likes to cuddle time and touching and stuff like that. And John he probably likes it as well, but he's also taking it very slow.
Yeah, because he mentioned that he doesn't want anything distracting him. Because, she comes down in this kangaroo outfit, and he's okay, I've never spent one-on-one time with a grown-up in a kangaroo outfit. But I like her personality. Mm-hmm. She's that fun-loving, she can get silly, and it be okay. And, I feel she's moving a little bit faster than he was expecting it to go. But at the same time, I think, too, he wants to make sure that nothing's distracting him, because he says, I want to build build this slow and a solid relationship and foundation with her. And I feel like he was kind of nervous too.
Mm-hmm.
There was episode and nervous like when she like laid down on his lap and everybody's like, oh, okay. And I think that's too, and I think that's something that they'll have to communicate. Like he's gonna have to say, okay, I want to, but this is how I feel about it. So that's basically our wrap up today. Do you have any other?
No, it was actually pretty good and exciting episode. They did some good, hit some good points and showed the right spots. It seemed like, you know.
I think they're slowly building it, you know, more and more to see like, okay, is this gonna work? Is this not gonna work? And they're all trying really hard.
Yeah.
To really see if this is gonna work with the kids and alone time. You know, they're working towards that alone time with each other. So I definitely like this episode. Next week's episode sounds intense. It's gonna be
crazy.
It's gonna be intense. So stay tuned for that review, guys. We'll see you later.